What's up, peeps? We got the SEC Connect, man. You got myself, you got Chris with a K. Jay is coming on in a second. Man, put them horns up. Ty's coming on too here, man, for a little bit too as well, man. Look, man, today we're gonna do just a week one preview, and
Mhm.
we're gonna talk about probably the three most important and probably impactful games in the SEC this week. We got
Okay.
Texas A&M versus Notre Dame. Who else we got? Chris, LSU, USC,
Yes, sir.
and Georgia, Clemson, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me, Nick. Before we get started and all the rest of that stuff, people like, subscribe, do all of that to the SEC Connect. We are here, people. Texas OU, we are here. NWO status, NWO type of time. We in the SEC now. So, people, this isn't just us commentating anymore. This isn't us just us commenting. This is us full fledged deep in that thing. You know what I'm saying? Deep in that thing. Let me say it one more time. Deep in that thing. We in the SEC now. So definitely like, subscribe, and share because whenever we get a full house with Ty, Jay, and Steven, oh, it's going to be some magic. It's going to be some magic, baby. So yeah, definitely like and subscribe to the channel, y'all.
Hey, Chicken comes in with the first comment. Nino, my twin 10 special brother from down south. It's time. It's here. Oh, do I need to donate so Steve sees his barber? Man, get off Steve, man. Steve can't make it tonight, man. He can't make tonight. He's at a work like dinner tonight, man. So he can't make it, man. But it is a good one, though. Chicken also says, I'm working on Michigan, Texas tickets. I'll be the only person in all Sooner gear. Hey, Chris, this funny thing, man. And so, like I got a job and my job has me everywhere. Has me in Tinker down in OKC, has me in
Yeah.
Alfred up in Nebraska. But all the folks that, I work with in Tinker, of course, are Oklahoma fans, right? So, oh man, you got to see our meetings, bro. Our meetings is something stupid, crazy. It's a whole lot of those two sorry ass words that like y'all use and them hookums.
Boomer. Boomer.
Davey Fockett says, what's good, everybody? Week one, let's go. I know it's week one, man. Our Future says, yo, what's happening, Our Future? And of course, it says the hook 'em. Stephen G, it says, Chris, that's your uncle, right?
Nah. That's the bro. That's the bro right there. Stevie G
Chris, you
right there.
legend. Oh my God, legend, my
You already
ass.
know. You already know. Let's get to it, man. Let's get
All
to it. I
right,
definitely got some. Hey, I got some. Yeah, I got to pop some stuff off tonight, boy. Let's
let's
go.
pop it off. Okay, first off, let's talk about. I want to talk about this Clemson Georgia game. That's what
Okay.
I want to talk about first, man.
All right.
Look, hey, Chris, I want to start this one off. Because
Okay.
this was kind of like tugging at my heart a little bit because of what my team experienced when our coach kind of didn't want to go with the times, right? Dabo Swinney is kind of reminding me right now of Mac Brown after he lost the championship game, where it is chasing what's hot, but not chasing what beats him, but not adapting to what is best for his team right now. Right? You're seeing Dabo not use the portal. Right? You're
Mhm.
seeing Dabo be so against so many things. NIL is probably not a big thing in Dabo's eyes either. Name, image, and likeness of God. That's what he says, right? And
Yeah.
so I look at Dabo Swinney and Clemson probably taking another step back this year. They've taken step backs here for the past couple years. The only saving grace that he has is unlike the Big 12 of yesteryear, the Big 12 was pretty strong at that time, right? You had Texas was coming off of losing the championship. You had OU, Baylor with the Art Browse, right? Everybody can talk about Baylor all you want. Baylor with Art Browse was a problem, right? You had the Pat Mahomes who was at Texas Tech. You had good teams in that league. Uh, the 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 gift and the curse for Dabo is in a conference that is weak, and he doesn't really have a lot of competition around him, so he can really out talent people in the ACC. What you think
Okay.
about that?
Okay. No, I disagree with you on that.
Go ahead.
I thought where you were going at with what you were saying was that the ACC is the old Big 12, or
No,
kind of the well to compared to those teams, it kind of is in a sense simply because the ACC this year, even though it seems to be top heavy, they can still cannibalize themselves. I mean, there are a number of teams that on any given Saturday could go and get a surprise W. I would
but I
I would
think that's because
definitely
the conference is weak.
well
That's
no,
why.
exactly. I'm not trying to say it's a great conference, but I'm saying that it's a toss up. Florida State getting beat by Georgia Tech. By the way, people, I did pick that game.
Oh, we
But
got
Georgia
we got.
Tech, Georgia Tech beating Florida State. That kind of shook the ACC world, right? Simply because that's letting you know a lot of teams are on even par, or excuse me, on even keel. One of the biggest things that's been pointed out about Dabo Swinney, outside of the fact that he's not using the portal, right, or kind of adapting to modern times with NIL, is the simple fact of he doesn't have the talent, or the, as Nino's corner has termed the phrase, right, that generational talent. He doesn't necessarily have that. And then another thing is that some of his best developers are now coaching at a school that I'm pretty fond of. You know what I'm saying? You can keep the train going and you can keep the wheels from falling off, but that doesn't mean you're going out there. You know, you can go get a damn Lamborghini and have that, but you're still putting Pirellis on it at discount tire. You know what I'm saying? You're not putting the low profiles. You're not
You got,
putting the works
that
on
boy
it.
got the
You know?
Walmart tires and Lambo.
Yeah. So I'm not hating. I'm not saying that, but I talked to a guy in the space a few years ago, and he said, "You guys are going to see exactly why we're not worried about Venables leaving." I was like, honestly, you guys should be worried that Venables leaving, but enough of that. Point blank period is this right here. I don't necessarily know if they're talented enough on the perimeter, but from what I've been advised by ACC folk and by other just podcasters like myself, is that this should be the year, or this could be the last year, that Dabo really can sit at the table and feel comfortable, like he has a team that can really go out there and compete for something, possibly a championship.
You
So
think so?
I'm not really sure.
I don't think so.
I like Klubnik. I like the Garrett Riley grab, but you got to let them actually work. And I think that defensively, I think you're going to be fine. But that 3-3-5, they still have the talent from people that they've recruited in the past. I mean, they still have talent on that
Oh
team.
yeah, they got plenty of talent on the
And
team.
most of it's on defense. Offensively, you're saying, hey, can Westco and can and like Antonio Williams, do they have any other wide receivers that are going to be able to step up? Because Georgia's a great matchup because it's a litmus test for everything. But
Don't do
also, I think Georgia's 14 points up on the
that. I
spread.
think so. I think so. Let me
So
check right quick.
I mean, I don't know, man, but just from a philosophy standpoint, I think that's where we're really getting at with Dabo. If he's going to be stagnant, then so is Clemson, and that's what you've seen these past few years. And I don't think that Clemson's going to just bounce back like that, because I think the ACC is full of teams that are capable of beating them on any given Saturday. I really do.
Yeah, I think Georgia's gonna put paws, hand, feet, and paws on Clemson, and I don't think it's gonna be pretty either. I just think Georgia. Look, man, I read a stat the other day that Georgia has 7 offensive linemen that NFL scouts believe have 8+ year careers.
Yeah.
Like they got 8+, they got 7 linemen that are going to have decorated careers in the NFL. Which I think they're going to abuse them. I just do.
I think that the game could potentially be a woodshed. I think it should be a woodshed. I mean, obviously, I'm going to take Georgia, but my question is simply this: if Ty Hayes was on here, Ty would tell me, "Oh, you're wrong, Chris, because they do have those type of guys." You lose Brock Bowers, and then you lose your safety valve, who's Mister Everything behind Brock Bowers and Lad McConkey. I don't know. I got to see it. You lose the Raw kid. You got Evans, who we wanted to be at OU, but we get to see a full palette, right? Do we get to taste the full palette this year, or are we only working with that $10 wine that we can buy from Walmart, right? I don't know why Walmart. Please don't sue me, but all I'm saying is simply this. All I'm saying is simply this right here is that they've been so reliant on a tight end that is, again, as Nick would say, generational, right?
He's a transcendent player.
Yeah, and so I mean, defensively, yeah, they're going to be in games. But my question is do we regress back to the Jake Fromm years, or are we still moving forward in the right direction as far as we're going to be a legitimate contender for the national championship? Because I'm not convinced that Carson Beck can do it without those two. I have to see it. That's just my opinion.
It's gonna be interesting, man. I like Delp. I think Delp's a great tight end too. He played well last year. Of course, he's not Bowers. Bowers was
Yeah.
different. You know what I'm saying? He was different, but Delps is another 5-star guy. I think it was the top tight end in the country coming in last year too as well. You know, so last year was his freshman year, right? So then you got, Carson Beck, who many have, tabbed to be like the Heisman front runner, top 2 or 3 pick in the draft, if not the top pick of the draft. Um, Look, man, I love Bowers. I think he's probably the best tight end, like pure tight end that we've probably seen in the past 20, 30, 40 years, to be honest with you, in college football. He's shattered every record. But I'm just looking at after he got hurt, Georgia still went on to kick butt, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They still, I mean, look, he got hurt in what game? Was it the Auburn game or the Kentucky game?
It was one of those. And I think it was he may have been hurt in the Auburn game, but he
Yeah, he
finished
was
the
hurt. He
Auburn game.
finished it. He played in the Kentucky game,
Yeah.
and I think he was out in the Vanderbilt game. If somebody in the chat knows, please let us know. But
Okay, give me another team besides Vandy, please.
okay, so let's look at so after Vandy, they play Florida.
Yeah.
They win 43-20. They
Okay,
play
was Florida a
Missouri.
good team last year?
No, they weren't, but they play
Okay.
Missouri. They win 30-21. They go play Ole Miss and hands, feet, and paws on the number 9 team in the country, 52-17. They play Tennessee 38-10.
These games were without him.
I'm pretty sure that all those were out. I don't think he came back until the Alabama game.
Somebody correct us in the chat.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
I'm just trying to see.
Yeah, I could be wrong. But look, I'm looking at the stats now from the Tennessee game, and I'm looking at the box score. And receiving, Brock played in that game. He played in that game. What games did he miss? Because he missed like 2 or 3 games, didn't he?
Yeah, Riley UT has a great point. He just made a great point. They don't have that SEC East schedule.
That is true. They got a tough schedule too. Like Georgia has a tough schedule, man. But for this game, I got Georgia. I got Georgia taking it to Clemson.
We'll move on, but let me ask you this question. Let's spin it on this narrative, because I think I think even though we may have some small doubts, not like true concerns about Georgia. I think we addressed that, but let's flip it on its head. Yeah. What does it take, or how can Dabo go in there and shock the nation? I wouldn't say the world, but the nation.
Oh man, he's got to play discipline. He's got to play disciplined ball, man. But it's gonna be tough to shock the nation. Now, one thing that like Dabo does have, he has recruited well on that defensive line. Like getting Peter Wood was awesome. That was 2 years ago. So he's coming in this year as a junior, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, so getting him, just the other pieces around him, I honestly think that's going to be great for them. But that Georgia offensive line is stupid good. I just don't see Clemson having the depth of talent. And it's weird to say this because we've been seeing Clemson with crazy depth over the years, right? But if you go back and look at these past 4 or 5 classes, Georgia's number 1, Clemson's 14, 13, 11.
I feel like, and I agree with all that. But if we just talking ball, just random dudes just talking some random ball, right? I'm gonna say this right here. Hey Dabo, if you're listening to this, I know you probably won't take this 2 cents, but here's my 2 cents I'm gonna throw in the barrel, right? You went out there and got you a coach who you could call a shootout coach. You can win a shootout. You can win if that play calling is humming and y'all got it humming. Y'all can move the chains, use the pass. His offense works. His offense can get you there. Now, granted, we saw what Georgia did to TCU, 2 years ago. Yeah. So I'm not going to sit here and act like that wasn't a real thing and that wasn't his offense. But you have a coach. You have a coach there who can call an offense to the point where, and he may or may not actually have more talent on the offense, or at least weapons. I mean, don't get me wrong, Savion Williams and maybe I'm saying his name wrong. Who's Quentin? Wasn't it Quentin Williams?
Where?
At TCU.
Johnston, the guy that plays for the Chargers now.
Quentin Johnston and Savion. Yeah, I mean, you had guys there. Don't get me wrong. I think Quentin Johnston, I think he was real. Outside of him, I think you could possibly have better wide receiver core or maybe more weapons. I don't know how you would really phrase that, but regardless, you have what it takes to possibly get in a bit of a shootout with Georgia, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that may be the only way that you could is if you could force that narrative of forcing that game to be a shootout. But that defense is probably going to play lights out, so it could just be a woodshed. That's
That's
just
my thing. How many shootouts have we seen Georgia have with much stronger teams over the past couple years?
yeah.
You know, it's not. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm with Davey Fockett here. He goes, Dabo better start praying.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, if we really gonna flip it on his head, we can say, hey, you could potentially win a shootout, but getting there is the problem. That's because I don't know how you really start that engine up. You know what I'm saying?
Just don't think. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I don't think they got the depth for it.
Klubnik,
I
it
just
comes
think
down to Klubnik, man. Is he? You know?
Georgia's strong, man.
Yeah,
Georgia, but yeah, Georgia's just so. I don't trust any team going against Kirby's defense with
yeah.
him being a defensive mind that he is, right? And so it's going to be interesting, man. Look, I got Georgia, and I got Georgia covering. I do. I think the spread now is 14 points or so. I got Georgia covering. I
Right.
do. I just think they're too strong.
We on that bandwagon. We on that bandwagon.
Yeah.
What's the next game, bro?
Next game, man. Let's talk about Texas A&M and Notre Dame.
You want me to start this one?
Man, go ahead and start this one, brother.
All right, excuse me. So you have, you have a couple of connections in this game, which is really cool. Well, I mean, really, the main connection is the fact that Elko and Leonard, right? So that's kind of
Yes.
the dynamic. So how does that play? I think that's the underlying theme of this game is that a really good defensive minded coach against his former quarterback that he knows is mobile, is a good quarterback, a good college quarterback. So that's going to be interesting in itself. I think when you look at the game as a whole, let's just go out there. Let's just call it what it's going to be. For the longest time in this game, I promise you, this will be a 3-and-out type of game because.
Yeah.
And I think that the first team to crack 17 points is probably going to be your winner.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
I don't see this being an explosive offensive game, even though it's at Texas A&M. I see this being a battle between the defenses, and I think the first one to possibly crack 17 plus points is going to be the victor. I think that Notre Dame can play the style of ball that I know that Elko is going to try to push. I think it's going to be a very controlled and concise and precise game. There's not going to be any false steps. Going out there and getting somebody like Colin Klein, who, let's just be real, am I in love with his offense? No, but I know that his offense does cause problems. I've seen both our teams struggle with K-State before. I've seen us go out there and handle business, but I've seen us also give up some plays that were just like, what the hell, regardless of who was out there or whatever the case may be. Colin Klein can't call a hell of a game. And the biggest thing about Colin Klein is that he's not one of those coaches that waits until halftime or whatever. He makes adjustments drive to drive. And so he's going to give you a lot of eye candy. He's going to give you a lot of pre-snap stuff that you're going to have to pay attention to. So, but I think Notre Dame is going to be fine because they have a defensive-minded coach as well with Freeman. I think Freeman is one of the best defensive coordinators in the nation. I think he's proven that time and time again. I think he's put his imprint on that Notre Dame team and that defense.
Yeah,
the biggest thing for Notre Dame this year, which was last year, which was kind of surprising me after the Northwestern game, right? That offense, can it actually be explosive or is it going to just be lethargic and unpredictable each game, right? But if you wanted me to call a winner, I'm going to pick Texas A&M simply because it's there. Not necessarily sure of what I'm going to see from Weigman. Is he going to really, take over that team this year and be that guy? But I feel like with what Elko is going to want to do offensively and defensively, I think that they probably get the game. And I think it's a close game, but like I said, I think the first one that cracks 17 plus points is the winner.
That's a good one, man. I think I'm on board with you on this one, man. I was just jotting some notes down. Yeah, man, Colin Klein he has done more with less. He doesn't get the players that he would like to at Kansas State. So he has really good offenses for that kind of personnel. But in saying that, does he have the personnel at A&M to run the offense that he likes to run? You look at the offenses that he's had at Kansas State. He has some pretty big physical running quarterbacks that went out there and got it. Hell, he was one of them. You know what I'm saying? So Connor Weigman is not that kind of guy, right? So can he tailor his offense around a guy like Weigman? But also, Texas A&M's offensive line, man, they need help. I saw a stat today, and it showed that their top 7 offensive linemen, their grades from PFF were, they had one of them. I think Bryce Foster was like at a 5, like 5 points out of 100, like 5. Like, that was his offensive line grade. I think like the highest one might have been 50, right, which is below average. So I'm not sure if he can implement a great offense with that kind of line play in the SEC. On the flip side, Notre Dame, I read something today. Their starting offensive line only has like 7 or 8 starts between all of them, between the starting 5, like with a true freshman at left tackle. A&M's defensive line is still there, is still damn good, right? Yeah. So we know A&M's offensive line is not good. We know A&M's defensive line is good. We know that Notre Dame's offensive line is young and inexperienced, but we don't know if they're good or not yet. But I do like what you said, man. Being at home, having that great like D line, Elko being Elko, which is going to be good for A&M. I got A&M winning this game, close game. I think they do cover. I think it's 2.5 points. So like I got them on 3 to 5 point win or so.
Here is, and you just named another underlying theme of the game. Who's going to be more successful at running the ball? Because we know both teams are going to want to run the ball. I mean, Notre Dame is going to run out there with at least 2 running backs that are SEC built, right? You very rarely, at least in the time that I've watched them these past couple of years, not just the Freeman era, but even Brian Kelly's era, you didn't necessarily see too many scat backs back there for them, right? Now, the one that they had, they switched him over to a slot receiver last year, right? So you know that you're going to have some big bruisers back there who can run, but they can take a beating as well and run through the trash very well. So I think that's one thing that you do, because left tackle being a true freshman. And biggest thing with the offensive line is, hell, can we even hear? Right? Is that 12th man going to be rocking like you?
And it will.
Think it will be.
It will. Yeah. It's first game of the season too. It's going to be loud.
Like I said before, and I think I've said this to you and the guys, man, on this channel and on other channels, man. I don't expect Elko to set the world on fire. He could. But I do expect him to make it extremely difficult to move the ball on that Texas A&M defense. Not necessarily because they have 5 stars or people like this, just because
he's a good defensive coach. People don't get that, man. He's a good defensive coach. Yeah.
It's not going to be a lot of wasted moving out there. Okay. This is not going to be, it's a work in progress, but I mean, it could turn out to be 7-5, 8-4, maybe even a 9-3 at the most, in my opinion. That damn good, simply because it's going to be hard to move on that defense wherever you're at, because they're going to travel as well. They're going to do pretty good.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. So look, man, our future says Notre Dame is playing 2 true freshmen and 3 true sophomore on that line. There you go. It's a young line, man. It's a young line. And also, this is a good point here, man, from Raleigh UT. He said Owens is gone. That is true. So Ruben Owens got hurt, and he's out for the season, right? And so, I think everybody from the A&M side of the house who I've talked to is, I always say that Ruben Owens is going to have a hell of a season this year. Probably the top back this year, 5-star, everything when he came into college, and especially in the College Station. And for him to be gone is a big loss. To couple that with how inefficient that offensive line has been, man, it's going to be very, very hard to overcome. But I still got Texas A&M winning this game.
That was your bell cow, but you said it. You said the phrase before. We've seen Elko do more with less as well. Yeah. So I think probably hit the portal, or maybe have some guys on there that we don't know about who are not going to be Ruben Owens or have that type of upside. But I think they're going to be serviceable and durable. And I
Yeah,
think in that
it's gonna be
with
tough at the portal
with
now.
Colin Klein, especially with what he was doing with Deuce Vaughn, I think you see more of that. I think
Yeah,
I don't necessarily know they have like a small guy that has that burst that can hide behind those tackles, but at the end of the day, he can scheme up a good run game as needed throughout the game.
yeah, oh yeah, they'll make something happen. I mean, it's A&M. They're gonna have talent. They recruit well. So they're gonna have talent there. They did lose. Who's it? LJ Johnson? He's playing at SMU now. But yeah, look, man, they have talent. That's not the problem. It's just, can they have a coach that puts it together? I think the big thing here, the chess matching here is, who do we trust more, Riley or Elko? Right? Because they both know each other. Do I trust the seasoned defensive coordinator to come in and break the blocks off of Riley, or do I trust Riley to understand what an Elko defense is with players he's never seen? I'm going to nod my head to the head coach that only has a hone in on one player.
I'm gonna I'm gonna actually say I disagree with that because how should I say this? Nick, you've heard me say this time and time again, so has the people in the chat. Some teams are one coach away from bringing that structure for
Yeah,
them to win a championship. Hell, look at LSU once every 5 years. They need a coach that just clicks with everything and finally makes it work because they just have all this talent that's there, no matter if it was 2, 3, 4, or 5 star, right?
yep,
Some teams are just players away, right? And that's what I see Notre Dame being. Notre Dame has the weapons. You saw some of the weapons they had last year. It's just like Sam Howell just picked and
yeah.
chose which games he wanted to show up for, which was, like I
The
said,
guard,
I mean,
yeah,
it baffled me seeing that happen throughout the year, especially coming off that Northwestern game. I know Northwestern wasn't anything to ride home about, but the fact of the matter is that he put on a passing expose, hell, mainly using a freshman wide receiver, right?
yeah,
So I think that I think they'll be all right. I think Notre Dame will be okay. To me, it just really boils down to not necessarily who can click on, who can make it work on the explosive plays. It's who can have a steady running game, right? That keeps
yeah.
moving the chains and all the rest of this stuff. Because, like I said, this is a 3-and-out game if I've ever seen it. I don't think that this is going to be a high scoring game, but I do believe first person who cracks that 17 plus win. So, because it's at home, like I said, I'm gonna give it an A&M. Yep.
You know what, Chris? Though, talking about the running game, though, I think this is where I think Notre Dame might have the advantage here. And I say that because even if they have a young offensive line, you got a quarterback who can get down and run. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, we know Riley Leonard, he can do it. Dude is sick with his legs, man. So that might bring a little bit of extra juice to Notre Dame, man. So I'm kind of rethinking my pick right
And
now. But
if I am Notre Dame's offensive coordinator, best believe there's going to be a couple of design runs for my quarterback in there. Nothing that's going to get him hurt, but there's going to be some design runs just to keep you honest.
yeah, because I'm looking at just this last season prior to him getting hurt, man. I mean,
Yeah. I'm
you
I'm
know,
spreading I'm
they
spreading them out. I'm not trying to have him scramble and improvise and all the rest of this stuff. I'm spreading them out, and we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, man. So look here against Clemson in the first game where they win, 28-7 against the
Yeah.
number 9 team in the country. That's why I think Georgia's kind of blow the doors off Clemson. 8 rushes, 98. 2 games later against Northwestern, they win. Was it 38-14? 13 rushes, 97 yards. They play Connecticut. They blow the doors off them. He didn't play much, I don't think. Then at Duke, he played Notre Dame. They lost 21-14, but 18 rushes for 88 yards. And then the Florida State game, he only had 1 rush. And then the Louisville game, they got blown out. But I think that's the game he got hurt. And But yeah, man, he can run the ball, man. So it's going to be interesting. I might think about changing my pick as it comes
Don't
up
do it.
close. But
Don't do it.
I
Trust
like Riley
Alpo.
Leonard though, man.
If you flip, it just needs to be directly from the hatred between your
No,
program and
no,
their
no,
program. That's all it
no, no,
needs to
no.
be.
I'm looking at just like you said. Some teams are like one player away, right?
Yeah.
And put a healthy Riley Leonard on that Notre Dame team last year. What do they do? Now I know it's a different team now because they lost their running back and they lost a few other players, but nah, you're right. A&M got it. I'm going A&M.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I'm going A&M on this one. All right, man. Look, man, we got one more game. Let's talk about the LSU USC game, man. And I know you're gonna want to start this off because your boy Tebow over there is coaching. So I'll let you go ahead and start this off.
Hey! One of the funniest moments during all of that was when Nick messaged. It was in a chat that we in. I think it's me, you, Steven, and Seth. Shout out to Seth Oliveris, right? Nick said, "Hey, what does Tebow mean? Like, I keep seeing this Tebow thing on Twitter. Who the hell are y'all talking about?" So I sent him this picture that had it, but Riley was like this, and it had what Tebow meant, but behind him, Nick sent a message back saying, "Oh, y'all need to go to church. This ain't right. Y'all can't be doing that." I was like, oh man, that was one of the funniest moments. If you know, you know. Tebow. Shout out to Tebow.
Yeah, that was funny, man. But yeah, man. Hey, look, go ahead and start this off, man. Go ahead and start it off.
So I'm not even gonna hold these people that much long. I'm not gonna do. Look, LSU is bringing back Harold Perkins, right? Gonna be able to rush the quarterback. Gonna be able to do all these things or whatnot that he wants to do out there, right? The defense, you hope it'd be better because they went and got Missouri's defensive coordinator. So they're not going to use Harold Perkins as a nickel back. They're going to use him as an actual linebacker that wants to blitz, right? Garrett Nussmeier is back there. You think he's going to be really, really good. You think you're going to have a good running game. People are saying that you have the best offensive line in the SEC, hell, even the nation, right? And you think that you may have a wide receiver or two that may be stars, right? So, Nick, who you think I'm going to pick?
LSU.
Not so fast, my friend. USC big, okay? The reason why I say that, people, is because I'm slowly but surely getting away from the whole Riley stuff, okay? So let Tebow do what he wants to do. But the reason why I'm picking them is not because I think Miller Moss is a good quarterback and can run Riley's system, right? It's mainly because this is a dangerous time. There is 2 times that you don't want to see Riley, right? The first time is in championship November whenever Riley has a good team, especially when his offense is humming. It don't matter about the defense. It's the offense because his defense is, I'm going to outscore you. That's what he's going to do, right? The second time is early in the year whenever he's giving you those same looks, but he's putting wrinkles on there and then turning those normal plays that he would run into trick plays, right? And those are big plays that get him points and get him out early and get him early leads. So, Nick, I'm just saying, man, I think Riley may have a little something up his sleeve. They're not going to be more physical. They're not going to be more talented. They're not going to have the guys, really the depth in my mind, to really compete with this team. However, I do think that Riley is going to have a really, really, really good script to start the game. And I think that he's going to have, I think he's going to be in his bag. And Nick, whatever you want to say, I understand, but I'm telling you, there's 2 times you don't want to play Riley, and that is championship November when he's got a good team humming, and then also early in the year. Because when it comes to games like this, Riley does show up pretty much a lot. So I'm just saying, I think that you kind of got to give USC the benefit of the doubt in this game. So people call me crazy in the chat. Jay is here. Jay is going to call me crazy as well. But Nick, USC beats LSU Sunday night. You've heard it
here. Jay, you see, Jay, I'll let you respond to that because
So I would like to call you crazy, Chris, but I really can't. Because I'm going to be honest, when I'm looking at both games, and first off, thank y'all for holding it down. Sorry about my tardiness. I had a little bit of emergency I had to go run to, and I'm back. My question I have, honestly, for both teams is which quarterback's going to be better?
Nuss.
I don't know.
Nuss.
I don't know. I have no clue what either quarterback's going to look like. I don't know what either team's running game's going to look like. I don't know what either's. Well, I mean, I think USC has a solid wide receiver room. I think LSU is still, they've brought. I mean, Lacey, Kyron Lacey's probably the dude, but what else do they got? Because we ain't seen nothing. The offensive line at LSU is elite, and both defenses are boo boo. So I don't know what to expect either. So I'm kind of like, I want to call you crazy, but I can't. I think you're right, Chris. USC has a chance to beat LSU, no problem. But do I think they do it? I don't see them actually winning the game. But I would not be surprised if they did. That game is probably the hardest one this weekend for me to pick.
Jay, as I said, and I'll say it one more time before Nick goes. There are 2 times that you don't want to play on CP time. There are 2 times there are 2 times that you don't want to play Raleigh, and that's first off Championship November when he has a good team that's humming. Like I said, don't worry about the defense. His defense, I'm gonna outscore you, right? Second off, you don't necessarily want to play him in the beginning because those same normal looks that he's going to give you. He's going to run. He's going to have either 1, wrinkles in there, or 2, he's going to make trick plays off of that. So I can see them having some really explosive plays to start the game. Now, will it get tight? Yes. If LSU is smart, if Brian Kelly is smart, Brian Kelly, listen to me. Do not go out there and try to make this a track meet. Y'all have better athletes. Y'all have this, but I don't think that you have a better play caller than Lincoln Riley. I'm sorry. So what am I saying? I'm saying be more physical. 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Believe in that. Run the ball. Make it 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, 4th and 1. Go for it. Do what you need to do. Give yourself a chance to actually go out there and blow this team out. Do not go out there and try to make this a track meet. It's just like basketball, people. Don't go out there and play the other team's tempo or the other team's game. Play your game. You're more physical. I don't know what Nussmeier is going to be like. I think he's going to be a good pocket passer, but he's not going to be Jaden Daniels out there making plays with his legs 9 out of 10 times, right? So you don't have that luxury this year. Supposedly they're tackling in practice up there in California. I don't know what they're doing at SoCal. All I know is this right here. Do not go out there and try to make this game a track meet, because if that's what you want to do, if we're getting in the high 20s, or cracking 30s, I'm picking USC. I'm sorry.
Well, okay. The only thing I got to say about that is, I like Nussmeier, man. I think it's going to be good in this system. I do like Riley picking up, his rivals DC. Bringing in the guy from UCLA was great. He fielded some really good defenses over there. I think they had a top 10 defense in the country last year. One thing that they did do was they stopped the run, right? They stopped the run extremely well. They had the 2nd-ranked rushing defense in the country last year, but LSU didn't run the ball well last year, and I don't know if they've changed that enough to run it well this year, either. So Chris might be onto something. This might be a shootout. Is Nussmeier better than what Riley is going to bring to the table at the quarterback position? We're used to hearing Riley. Yeah, Moss,
Nussmeier,
right?
Miller Moss. Who we got?
Yeah, so we seen what Nussmeier can do, but I trust Lincoln Riley's offensive schemes, especially like Chris says early in the season, because he's game planning for this game. This is his Super Bowl for the top of the season, and then I think after the next, after that game, he has 2 weeks where his games aren't as tough. So he's been like planning for this, but so is LSU. Where's the game at, guys? It's neutral
Las
site.
Vegas.
Yeah, it's Las Vegas. Yeah, which could be a home game for Cali, but LSU fans are going to travel. Especially
man.
LSU because that's a 45-minute flight from LA, right? That's easy to get there, right? And you get direct flights from Baton Rouge, or either Baton Rouge or New Orleans, whichever one you decide. You get direct flights.
LSU fans going to show up.
They're going to travel.
They're going to travel.
They're going to drink up all of.
I'm going to LSU this game, man. I'm going to LSU this game. I think I'm going to trust. I'm gonna trust Kelly over Riley, man. I like Kelly. Kelly tends to show up more, I think, in the bigger moments than Riley does. No, honestly, I think he does.
This boy crazy.
I'm
Jay,
hey,
this boy tweaking.
I
no,
can't argue it.
no,
This
no,
boy smoking them funny cigarettes. What you talking about,
no. What
man?
I'm saying is, look, both of them have been underwhelming when once they get to the match. But look, I have seen Brian Kelly play for a championship. I have. I haven't seen Lincoln Riley do it. I haven't. And it just is what it is. Brian Kelly got beat by a Bama team that nobody was going to beat in the
Oh,
country
we,
that year.
we talking about those games. We ain't talking about the when they came back down from. Never mind. I'm sorry, my fault.
No,
Videos.
look. I mean,
My fault.
okay, since you want to talk about an 8-5 team that you guys can make and beat, that's great. No, I don't think the team was 8-5 that year. I think we were a 5-7 team. Yeah, so we're going to talk about. So we're comparing Brian Kelly's championship game to a game where Lincoln Riley came back against a 5-7 team.
I was just
in the last
trying
second.
to
That
figure
should tell you
out-
more. That should really make my point more.
Nick, I was just trying to figure out which games we were talking about.
That should make my point more.
Nick, we was riding around OKC, man. We boys, man. We boys. We boys. I'm just saying, man.
Look, man, it's gonna be interesting. I do have I got LSU in this game. I do. I think they're gonna be more physical. I think their line's gonna be better. Can I trust USC's defense to improve that much more this year with the addition of a DC? And I know they got Bear coming in. I get that. But Bear was a problem at Georgia. There's a reason why he was in the portal, right? There's a reason why a 5-star guy was in the portal is because he was causing trouble down there. And we can talk about the backstory behind that once we get off this phone call on why that happened. But, yeah, I mean, I got LSU. I think their line's going to be more physical. I think Brian Kelly has the guys, and I think we've seen Nussmeier in games, and I think those games that he's played in, they're bowl games, they've been pivotal games that he's had to step in, for Jaden Daniels last year, and I think he's going to have enough motion in him that the moment's not going to be too big for him with having a first start. It won't be his first start. Miller Moss, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm on LSU too. I just think their offensive line's going to be better. I don't know who I trust more out of Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley as of right now. Now, I think that Lynn's going to have that defense humming as the season progresses. When they get into Big Ten play, I think they'll be better. I can't say that they'll walk out the door that great, right? It's going to take them about a year to really get it the way that he wants it, because Benny Wiley's still there, right? And Wiley's still there doing the strength stuff.
Wiley's still there, bro.
So I got questions. I got questions.
Oh, Benny Wiley, man.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if it ends up being that. But yeah, I don't know how much of that I trust yet. Like I said, from that defensive side. So if it does end up being an offensive shootout, I could probably see Brian Kelly and staff possibly winning this out. Lincoln shouldn't lose it because Moss has been in his system for a year. So he knows 2 years. He's been there 2 years. So he should know.
Nussmeier's been in the system 2 years.
That's true. Nussmeier's been there as well for 2 years.
And, they were more excited about him than they were Jaden Daniels anyways. They were kind of just waiting the time out with Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, it's true. That's true. I
got a Heisman out of it, which is crazy.
I am in the mind frame of I think LSU's defense is going to be a heck of a lot better. Harold Perkins needs to be better. I think Baker puts him in the right spots for a change, and he plays better. I think Corey Raymond does better with the secondary. I think the corners are actually prepared, right? I think Bo Davis has that defensive line humming, right?
And they got the talent at LSU. Like they
just need
the
somebody to
talent.
coach them up.
That's
really all it is.
Yeah.
And I think by the time we see the late in the season, it's going to be a dogfight. So they should get off on the right foot and win this game.
Nick.
But again, like you said, Chris, I would not be surprised if USC makes it a shootout and they win.
That's true.
It's too hard to predict with all of that.
Nick, they told me out. They laughed at me. You know what I'm saying? They preyed on my downfall last week when that Georgia Tech pick got connected. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
it was like, bro. It was like I've been trying to tell y'all all along this to listen.
I shouted you out. But look here, though, man. We're talking about as bad as LSU's defense was last year. Historically bad. Historically bad defense.
historically.
They went 9-3, guys. I'm sorry, they went 10-3 at the bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, historically bad defense.
I mean, let's be real.
Historically
They were a typical Lincoln Riley team. So it's like they played the same game last year. So they can't be any worse.
No, but in a much, I mean, come on, just a much tougher conference. Let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, much tougher conference.
Yeah, I give you that.
Yeah. You know, and he was able to come out on top.
I'll give you that because I still don't know exactly what I was watching that USC versus Notre Dame game last year. That still bugs me. I was like, God, like,
yeah. Look here, man. I think Sooner in Texas says it right. It all depends on how good Miller Moss is. That LSU defense is not good, and neither is the USC defense. They were ranked lower than LSU's defense last year, so that ought to tell you something, right? So. Which, you know, LSU's defense was historically bad last year. USC's defense was worse than them in total defense. Now, is a defensive coordinator from UCLA going to change all that at USC in 6 months?
He said they tackling. That's enough for me. I don't know what all that entails. They may be tackling dummies or
tackling.
My boy Karen. What's up, Karen? Hey, man, it's going to be interesting, dude. It's going to be interesting. I still got LSU. LSU's going to be more
Hey, Kieran, pick up that stick, man. Like, what's up, bro? See me with these sticks, bro. Like,
hey, man, Kieran over there getting 25 5-stars, man. I saw him with the Space Force getting 25 5-stars. Go ahead, Kieran.
He got on overtime and thought it just moved on up to the east side. Like he don't know. We still out here in these streets, man.
Kieran is the dude, man.
Pick them sticks up, Kieran. We can. Hey, look, Texas, OU, Red River, me and you. For bragging rights, all of that. You already know I'm going to win. But go ahead, Nick. Go ahead.
Here goes Sooner in Texas. He said, Nino, that was our Heisman winning quarterback. They don't have one of those this season. I mean, hey, look, they don't, but
they really don't.
They don't.
They really don't. Like, we don't know what Miller Moss is yet, right? Like, I mean, everyone loves Miller Moss. We don't know what he is yet. We really don't.
That is true.
I think he's going to be good because he's with Lincoln Riley. Lincoln Riley's going to make him good.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, I mean, he couldn't make Malachi Nelson work, and Malachi Nelson couldn't even make it work at Boise State. So,
boy, did y'all see those tweets that they had about him when they put the diamond bust on there? Oh my God! If you know what I'm talking about off of CFB 25, you already know. Kieran, I want all the smoke, baby, all the time. Bring it to me. You know what I'm saying?
Wildin', man. Y'all wildin' on them.
I don't want the black and mild. I want the smoke. Come on. I want that real. You know what I'm saying? I want the real.
All right, man. So sports, what's this? Whatever. So Miller Moss going to let Lincoln actually run his system instead of Caleb's hero ball. USC still.
Look, that's not a bad point.
That's not a bad point, but
you know, my uncle said it the other day. I give him a shout out about this. He said it the other day. He's like, hey, man, I do want Caleb to be successful in the league. He said, I think one thing that will keep him from that is the fact that he tries to improv way too much. You don't have to go out there and play hero ball, especially at the next level. But
was Caleb improving because his line sucked and he had to make plays because he had nobody in front of him in the block? Or was he improving because he just wanted to go off script? I think it's the first.
It was a number of things. I think to be honest with you, it wasn't because his skill players were bad. I mean, hell, Zach Branch out there is enough for me.
Doesn't matter how good your skill position players are if your line sucks. You can't get him the ball.
No, his line. They were fine. Lincoln can scheme around a bad offensive line.
Beanbo can scheme around a bad offensive line.
Thank you. From a Texas fan, letting you know. No, it ain't Lincoln.
It's not Lincoln.
Beanbo can do that. He can make it work with what Lincoln wants to do. We ain't seen it been done.
That line has not been the same since he's left Oklahoma. Let's keep it real.
I'll give you half credit on that. You get half credit on that.
Why?
Why? Because the running game last year for USC was unpredictable. It was very sporadic because you put your best running back on the sideline and it was playing whoever that number 6 was. But to me, I don't think it was that because I mean, look, Caleb is enough. Caleb can improv, but I don't know, man. It was a number of things, but it wasn't just the offensive line. It was just a number of things, man. Just Lincoln had a really off year, but I've been saying that for the past couple of years. Lincoln hasn't really called a great season outside of probably 2 years ago. But that last OU season and then this past season, you just kind of like, man, it's just like everything's so predictable that you're doing. Like what, like all those wrinkles and everything that he would usually add, he didn't add them. So I don't know. It was a number of things, but I wouldn't just blame the offensive line. I mean, it was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on.
Look here, I'm going to tell you exactly what Lincoln was doing at USC, and Texas fans will understand when I say this. All right, and here's Karen. He says it best. He says they are catching up to Lincoln. They are. Look here. Texas was recruiting a bunch of skill position players back in the day, and it was 5-star this. The class looked great. Top 6, 7 class because you got all, Brennan Eagles is a 5-star wide receiver. You got Colin Johnson and Jordan Whittington, 5-star guy. These are the guys that Tom Herman and Charlie Strong are bringing in, right? But go look at the offensive line recruiting. Look, it is cool to have a Lamborghini, but like you said before earlier, if you're putting Walmart tires on it because the line can't block,
that's true.
It is what it is. That's what's happening over there at USC. Is that yes, he's bringing in like kids want to play in that offense. They want to play in Lincoln's offense. He's going to make the quarterback look great. He's going to make the wide receivers look great. The running back's going to look great, but it's all dependent upon if that line is going to do their job, right? And the line did not do their job last year, and they got very, very lucky that they had a guy like Caleb who could improv and make plays. I watched that game against Colorado because, I got family ties in that game, and I'm seeing Caleb, he's getting sacked 2 or 3 times that game. They can't really run the ball really effectively in that game. And this is a Colorado team that won 1 game the previous year and had to build most of their team from the transfer portal. Yeah. So that right there let me know, like, hey, man, there's some things that had to get better with Riley. And he's recruiting great on paper from a top 10 standpoint and all these 5 stars. But he's not getting the offensive line talent that you need to have to sustain yourself, especially in the Big Ten. Especially in the Big Ten now.
He's not recruiting like Cowherd try to lead us on to believe. But I think Kieran's next comment and then Jenna James' comment as well, I think those are spot on. I've said it plenty of times, Jay. When I talk about those blueprint games, I feel like a lot of teams, especially Baylor especially, that second year, that first year and then that second year that Orlando was really chumming down there at Baylor, they exposed that GT counter, man. I mean, it was like they were just running a crash blitz. They had like Pete, whatever how you say his name, that nickel that they had, and they had a linebacker come off the edge, or they were vice versa. One of them was going right there and that A or that B gap, and then the other one just coming straight off that edge, just like, hey, I mean, it is what it is. We know what y'all running. And that's even with a patient guy like Kennedy Brooks back there. So I mean, it was
very patient.
Yeah, it was very frustrating watching that GT counter not work because Lincoln would not leave it alone. He kept going back to it like he thought, okay, well, I'm gonna finally catch him. No, they were ready for it every time.
It's a great comment here from Sooner in Texas. It goes, people caught up to Tebow the minute he put that dry ass brisket out there.
Tell Sark to make a brisket, man. I want to see his.
Hey, man, Sark, we don't got to make brisket, man. We make enough money, we go buy shit. We live in Texas.
We live in the house. I'm gonna get that delivered.
We got a whole lot of people out here that make great brisket, man.
Well, they're going to buy them hams.
Shout out to my boy Pinkersons, man. But yeah, look, man, it's gonna be interesting, man. I got LSU winning the game, though. I got them winning the game. I think that they're going to be more physical on the line. I trust LSU's offensive line better than I trust USC's defensive line. And I think LSU has better playmakers on defense, not coached well. I don't think USC has a player that's even comparable to Harold Perkins on their defense. I just don't. Harold Perkins is going to be a top 10 pick if everything, falls right this year for him. You know what I'm saying? So that's my thing, man. LSU got a lot of talent. They said to be coached on defense.
Yeah.
Hey, go ahead, Jay.
Oh, no. Go ahead.
Hey, Jay, real quick, because I know we only have about 6 more minutes on here. You don't have to give an explanation. Just tell us who you got. Clemson, Georgia.
Man, that's the other toss-up for me. Only because I think that...
Hold on. We
gonna toss-up?
Let me answer. I think that the other Riley may finally get things going with Klubnik, and that Clemson defense should start to actually stop regressing. It should get a little bit better since now they have veterans. But Georgia wins the game.
I'm with Karen. Hey, Karen said Georgia blowing the doors out them boys. They putting
Now-
paws, hands, and feet on them.
In all fairness, this is what I said, Jay. I said, hey, if you're listening to me now, Dabo, I'm gonna throw my 2 cents at you, okay? Here's a perfect way that you could beat Georgia. Don't go out there trying to have some slobber knocker and get in a ring. You know what I'm saying? This is Mike Tyson at his prime. Do not go out there, all right? You are not Buster Douglas, right? That was rigged anyways. But anyways, you are not Buster Douglas. Best way to do it, you got a Riley on your team. Shootout. Win a shootout. Force them to respect you. Go win a shootout. Do I think it's going to happen? Hell no.
But you also remember too, Georgia's lost. A lot of NFL talent has gone to the draft, so they're bringing up young guys. So if there's any opportunity for Clemson to give them work, it's this year. Next year, absolutely not.
I don't know, man. Look, I think Kirby can literally sit down with that big ass offensive line he has. That people are saying they got 7 guys that are going to have 8-year plus careers in the NFL. They got 7 guys right now that scouts are saying are going to have 8+ year careers in the NFL, and put Etienne behind them and say, go out there and just do your thing, baby, and just beat them up.
And I would not argue that. I didn't say Clemson would win. I just said Clemson will probably be better than we expect.
This is crazy.
But Georgia's going to win. I don't think they blow them out. I don't think Georgia blows them out.
I think
even though it's at home in a way, but we also got to remember that Clemson is only an hour and a half away from Atlanta, or 2 hours from Atlanta. It's not like they're driving that far either, right? They pass through Athens to get there.
That's true, but even Clemson fans are sour on Dabo now. It's going to be interesting to see what's going on.
Yeah, they're sour on him because
that winning can cure all of that. What? Yeah. Okay, next one that we talked about. Just want to make sure we people get your thoughts about this.
Notre Dame A&M.
Notre Dame A&M.
All right, man. I'm on the Elko train.
Hey, same here.
I'm on the Elko train, and I say that because I was actually talking about this. I think it just probably launched today on the Locked On SEC, Locked On College Football Network with the SEC guys. I went through and looked at some of those recruits that's on the defensive side. Who's that? Shamar Turner, the defensive tackle.
They're gonna be sick.
You know, that's an Elko recruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's like 10 dudes on that defense that Elko actually was either a primary or a secondary recruiter for. He knows those dudes.
He's gonna be fine.
It's not like he was gone for 4 or 5 years. He was gone to 1.5-ish, roughly 2. He's coming back to players that he brought in who are now going to be starting to start. I think that it ends up being a little bit better for them than people anticipate. The question is going to be, what does Weigman do? I know a lot of people are high on Weigman. They said that he did very well in the time that he played. Totally get it. I got to see if he can execute on it. But I'll say this. I do believe 100% that Texas A&M going to probably shock some people this coming season, because I think that Elko has a lot of players. He has enough players on that roster that he can do some damage. Now we just got to see him execute on it. So, yeah, I think that they win that game.
Jay, I've been saying this all year, and I've been getting a lot of hell from my Texas fans.
You have.
I said, look, A&M's going to be a lot better than what people give it. And the only thing that's going to keep them back is their offensive line sucks. It just absolutely sucks. But their defensive line, they're going to be sound defensively. You know, they can go anywhere from 7-5 to 9-3. And the more and more I see their schedule, 9-3 looks like it could be really achievable.
8-4 is really looking the most achievable to me.
Yeah.
8-4 is like the number that I
they might have it had to be a special season to get that 9 win, but man, if they go 8-4 his first year, they're going to be humming, dude. They're going to be humming. That offense, you know, look, they got Klein as the OC right now. I was just telling Chris earlier, the only thing about Klein in that offense, he's done more with less at Kansas State. We get that. And I totally love what he did at Kansas State. Does he have the personnel at A&M? Mind you, he has better talent. Yes, I'm not saying the talent's not better. But look at Colin Klein's offenses. He likes to run that quarterback, right? He does. And is Weigman that guy that can be able to sustain the kind of punishment that he's put his quarterback like a wheelhouse?
He's not going to run him. I've seen.
I know.
I've seen different styles I mean, hell, look at the year that when Will Howard actually did show that he had a pulse back there with that offense. I mean, he was running a little bit, but not like you would think. He was actually out there threading the
But
slinging
the
that ball, man.
fear with Howard was you knew he could run,
Yeah,
so
that's true.
it did take somebody,
Yeah.
to almost spy on him because he would tuck it and run. Will Howard's a hell of an athlete, which is going to be interesting seeing him at Ohio
You
State.
don't know. You don't know. I mean, be honest with you. I'll be real with you. And it's not his fault because of injuries and kind of just a quarterback shuffle, a Hollywood shuffle back there at quarterback, like year one with Jimbo. Anyways, it's you don't necessarily know what you're getting from Weidman like on a consistent basis, and
Right.
that's like I said, that's
That's
not
the
his
Jimbo
fault.
effect. That's the Jimbo
So
effect.
yeah, so I gotta see, I gotta give Colin Klein the benefit of the doubt because, like I said, I've seen him do more with less.
And also, you know, you know, how do I want to say this without sounding bad about Jimbo, but I'm just go ahead and say it.
I'll say it.
Yeah, so you're right, Chris. We don't know how good Wagman is because Jimbo was a horrible ass coach. He's the coach that ran Haynes King out of A&M, and the fans ran him out of there because they said he sucked. And all we saw him do was go to London and beat the crap out of Florida State and put paws on them. Right? I mean, he had a hell of a game, looked great doing it. Right? So it's that old adage about Jimbo is he got the money, he sat down on it and he was comfortable and he got content and he didn't give a damn about kind of redefining his offense. So he brought in Bobby last year, and we thought things were going to change, but it didn't change. He still ran the same crappy offense, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Bobby Petrino does things in Arkansas now, knowing what he could have done at A&M last year if Jimbo would have handed over the keys to him.
Good point.
Leave Jimbo alone, man. Jimbo already. He trying to find that next job, man.
No, he ain't. Jimbo chilling.
Jimbo enjoying the check. I don't think
You know,
I don't think
I
there was a
guess he's trying
clause
to
in his
find that
contract that
next-
said he
Nah.
had to get another job.
No, he's good. And even if he gets another job, there's no offset.
bonus.
Yes, right. He's still loaded. There's no offset. He's just enjoying life.
Bonus
Jealous.
game. Do we want
Here
to
you
talk
go,
about?
You right, so hey man, you right, man. Screw Jimbo. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, do we want to do a bonus game? We could do.
Yeah, let's do one quick one.
We could do Florida, Miami, or we could do Colorado, the Colorado game.
Florida, Miami.
Colorado versus
North
Dakota
Colorado
State.
versus Texas. Yeah,
Oh no.
No.
Yeah, no. It's
Florida,
Colorado
Miami,
versus
baby.
North Dakota State.
you know what I'm doing, Nick. You know what I'm trying to do. Nick over here like, wait, no, we ain't.
I'm really thinking about Colorado because my cousin plays on the team, so I'm really going to watch the game like heavy
No, I'll
tomorrow.
watch
I
that
that
game
would
too.
throw you off.
Yeah, but yeah, you was like, what? Huh? Yeah. So, anyways,
Colorado State. Nah, Miami, Florida, man, that is going to be an interesting matchup because I think we all maybe I can speak for you guys and just kind of say, hey, look, spoiler alert, I think we all probably pick Miami, mainly because of Cam Ward.
Yes.
I think that I think now, Nick, what I say about the Texas A&M and Notre Dame game, this is a
gonna be
3-and-out
good.
game I've ever seen. I can see this being a 3-and-out game. I can see them making it hard at the Swamp to move the ball here and there, but I think that there are going to be some really explosive plays. I think Miami has to find another receiver that can step up outside of the Restrepo kid or whatever his name is. I think if they can do that and not rely on Restrepo being the number one target, I think they'll be okay. He is your Wes Welker or Drake Stoops type of guy that can go out there and just make plays. Thought I'd just plug that in. But anyways,
you mean that guy looking for a job today?
Hey, practice squad, right? All you need is a chance. Anyways, so yeah, no,
This
I mean
guy.
back to the point.
Why you hating on why you hating on Drizzy, man?
Yeah, he's a hater, bro. National born hater. But no, Miami. Be it all serious, all jokes aside, I think Miami. To me, right now, Miami is the better team on paper. Got to see it on the field. Got to see Cristobal step out of the way of his team and let his team actually go and do their thing. So that's going to be an interesting kind of story that develops or unfolds over the year. As the year goes, excuse me. But I mean, Florida, man, look, contrary to belief, And I wish Steven was on here because I'd hit him with this. Graham Mertz didn't play that terrible.
He didn't play bad. Hey,
he wasn't
Look,
bad.
Graham Mertz
Look
isn't
here.
awful.
No,
he wasn't the problem.
He didn't play bad.
He wasn't
Hey,
the problem.
Chris, you missed last week's episode. I sat on here, me, Steve, and Jay. I was like, Graham Mertz, I'm sorry. You played pretty damn good last year, big dude. I can't hate on you. I can't hate on you. So, in saying that, man,
Nick was a defender. I will say.
Look here, man. They could beat Miami next week. I mean, like this week, they could beat Miami.
I would not disagree with that at all.
It's a toss-up, man.
This is a toss-up. And I know people are like, well, look, Miami got Cam Ward. Miami still has Chris Boster, coach too, who can't coach himself out of a wet paper bag. But
which is also a fair assessment.
So it's going to be interesting, man. My only thing is Florida has to get up to a hot start because if they don't, they're going to get murdered in those last 5 or 6 games. With Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and then Florida State. But Florida State, I mean, I shouldn't say nothing about Florida State anymore. But but Florida, hey man, Florida could beat Miami. They could beat them.
I can see it. I think that Miami's talent's better, and I do believe that Ward is better than Graham.
You gotta. I think what it boils down to is for me, and trust me, I'm not a Florida fan. Don't necessarily follow Florida football like that. Now they've been excited, especially about this class, right? So they've been excited about this, and maybe mainly because of Lagway, right? Yeah. But I think Mertz is going to be your starter until it basically is to the point where, hey, either you're going to be fired or you're on your way out or something for Napier, right? But I just think that they can make things a little bit difficult. Is at the Swamp.
Florida got a tough schedule.
Yeah, I don't know what they really have, to be honest with you, skill wise. Like that's because they lost. That's the weird thing, schedule. Man.
Dude, they got a tough schedule, man. They got Miami, then they got Sanford, which they should beat. Then they got Texas A&M. Then they got Mississippi State. Then you got UCF, which is never an easy game. UCF's a damn good team. Then Tennessee. Then Kentucky.
UCF's a pain in everybody's ass.
Then Georgia. Then Texas. Then LSU. Then Oklahoma.
Texas A&M the third game of the week.
Yes.
Yeah. See, look, Chris, he's like, wait a minute. Whoa, I gotta reevaluate life now.
Let Jimbo schedule that for A&M.
Yeah.
Jimbo needed to be fired. He's crazy. Anyways, no, I think
Jimbo got no. That had nothing to do with Jimbo because this is so this is Florida. This is with the new schedules now that Texas and OU went to the SEC. So they still got the.
I say, hell, don't blame that on us. That's if Jimbo should have fought that. Anyways, no, y'all go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So look, man, Florida has to win this game. They can win this game. I'm with you, Chris. Honestly, this is a toss-up game. It's a toss-up game. It's at the Swamp, which is going to be interesting. The fans are going to show out and show loud. It's first game of the season. They're going to try to watch some of that stink off of them from last year. And they know that Miami was on the ropes last year. A lot. And if I'm a team like Florida, I'm going to say, look, man, I got an opportunity to get it, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yeah. Here we go. Here, Karen says he's talking about Cristobal. He says this is the same coach that went on the road and beat CJ Stroud and then went back to the West Coast and lost to Stanford.
I saw that and I said, "Oh,
I don't know what to say."
I mean, he wasn't wrong, but he had to say it.
Oh man! On that note, man, look, it's 9-10, bro. We done went through a few games, man. Look, man, like, comment, and subscribe. Next week, we're gonna have the full cast. Next week, man, we're gonna have the first week of a ball. We'll be talking SEC ball the first week, full week, and to see how these games go. And like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, folks, man.
Bleacher Report.
Bleacher Report. Oh yes, the Bleacher Report. We're on Friday, right, Jay? Is it Friday?
Friday 11 Central, 12 Eastern.
No, I thought it was 12 Central, wasn't it?
It may be 12 Central. I don't know. We'll get a confirmation email probably soon. But I know with the email, it said 11. The email said 11 Central.
Okay. Well, that's the case.
So I think the first one did. So
Okay.
We'll say 11 Central. Bleacher Report app will have the college football roundtable prediction show that we did last year, but we get a full season now.
You get
And
a full
now
season.
Ty doesn't have to cheat and win like he did last time. Kidding. Hopefully Ty's listening because I'm gonna tell him he cheated again anyway. That will be the bit the entire time we do this show.
Guys,
What's up?
Colorado State does the impossible Saturday.
Man, shut up.
All right.
Colorado State -4.
Child, please.
Yes, 12 Eastern, 11 Central.
12 Eastern, 11 Central.
12 Eastern, 11 Central.
And then following all Texas games, you will see me on the Bleacher Report doing an individual stream for Texas football.
Nice. Congrats, Nino.
So 5 minutes after every Texas game, you'll see me doing a podcast. Well, not a podcast, but a live stream about Texas football and how the game went. And so it won't start against Colorado. It starts against Michigan. So
oh, man. I can't wait for this, baby. I can't wait for this, baby.
All right, man. But, hey, we got to head out, man. It's good talking to you guys. Salute to you guys. We out. Deuces.
Salute.